Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Major Kill. Sorry I sound so terrible, I'm still getting over a head cold. Now, the topic for today's video is the Lost Primarchs. So this will be very interesting. I did see a video a while ago. I don't remember what the video was called, who the video was by, but I guess there might be a theory that maybe one of the Lost Primarchs is still alive and in a jail cell, I guess, under the Golden Throne or the Imperial Palace, wherever, just down below in a dungeon in a jail cell. Now, if that is true, that would be crazy, because that would be a very small group of people that would know that information. Obviously, the Emperor. I'm sure, if he is in a dungeon or a jail cell, there would have to be guards down there, probably to keep an eye on him. So somebody else would have to know. And then, of course, if feeding him or, whatever. But yeah, that would be a very small group of people that would know that information. I mean, look at the Lion. Only Watchers in the Dark, and they don't speak? Can't speak, don't speak. The Emperor can't speak. And Supreme Grand Master Azrael are the only ones that know about the Lion. And two of them don't talk. So, I mean, just the amount of people that would know that if one of the Lost Primarchs was alive and in a jail cell would have to be just as small, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows? Interesting theory, though. But I'm not going to get into theories and questions and stuff like that, because most likely this video here is probably going to answer all my questions. So let's get on to the video. Here we go.
G'day guys and gal. Games Workshop are very deliberate with what they flesh out and what they leave ambiguous. Some might say this is so the consumer can insert their own lore into the gaps, but I reckon it's because they don't want to embarrass themselves with shite storytelling for key plot points. Nothing has been left more mysterious than the identity and fate of the 2nd and 11th Legion in their Primarchs. As GW slowly begin to peel back the layers of the less known lore, like how they have gone in depth with the Emperor's Unification Wars and his tragic Thunder Boys, I'm honestly expecting some concrete stuff from the Lost Legion soon. They have already dropped us plenty of hints, enough hints to make this video, so I would say it's only a matter of time. Before we get started, I have a treat for you. When Cyberpunk 2077 was announced, I was still a virgin who had only just started high school, so it's pretty awesome to see it's finally coming out in only a couple of days. Hence, I've teamed up with Instant Gaming to host a giveaway for you guys.
Good game.
Where Instant Gaming will be giving away 10 copies of Cyberpunk, as well as a 380 graphics card. It's free to enter and only takes a minute. While you're there, why not check out the rest of the site and pick up some massively discounted games, such as the Total War, Warhammer, or Dawn of War games. Obviously I'm referring to Dawn of War 1 and 2 here, not 3. Honestly, with how much money you can save through buying off Instant Gaming, there's no reason not to make this your new store for game keys. Thank you Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over who the Lost Primarchs could have been and how they may have met their unfortunate ends. We'll then go over some of the cooler fan-made Lost Primarchs. As a disclaimer, I'm using obscure references and canon mentions of the Lost Legions in order to make my own conclusions and try paint a picture for you. While this picture should be pretty accurate due to me combing through the lore for all the times the Lost Legions are mentioned, I could also be very wrong about the final result. However, I'm also generally pretty wrong about clearly written lore, so this is just another standard Major Kill video. Let's get into it. A lot of people believe that GW will never reveal the Lost Primarchs, as by having a blank spot for detailed lore, it allows people to create their own homebrew Primarchs.
Which
well, those people, including anyone from GW who has confirmed that, are supremely retarded and should jump off a bridge. Yes, GW has allowed and encouraged the use of homebrew Space Marine chapters, but that is all because all it takes to create a homebrew chapter is to colour an Imperial Fist left pinky pink and then call them the Minge Destroyers. Voila, new chapter. At most, you could then go on to kit bash a dildo on their head, or print off a unique shoulder pad for them if you're really crazy about it. For a homebrew Primarch, you would need to pay hundreds of dollars, if not more, to get a 3D modeler to create your Primarch from scratch and then get it printed. You would then have to spend hours creating a really cool backstory for them, so that if anyone ever saw your Primarch, their first reaction wouldn't be, wow, what a piece of shit. The point I'm trying to make is that GW has no real economic incentive to keep the Lost Primarchs mysterious for the sake of the incredibly tiny Primarch homebrew community. Now that's out of the way, let's start with the cold hard facts about the Lost Legions and their Primarchs. We know for certain that the Lost Primarchs are dead, and that their deaths were pretty unpleasant. Their memory was struck from existence, and anyone who dares speak of them would be put to death. So obviously they didn't go down screaming, "For the Emperor!" It would be easy to say that Chaos got to them early, but that just wasn't the case. The majority of Primarchs were completely oblivious to Chaos, but knew a fair amount about their brother's downfall. We also know that by the time the Emperor found Corvus, the Lost Primarchs were already dead. Hence it's also a fact that their demise occurred reasonably early within the Great Crusade. Another fact we know is that the Lost Legions fought in the Rangdang Xenocide, which was humanity's greatest challenge prior to the Horus Heresy, and I even made a video on it the other day. When they fought here, they were not yet disgraced and disbanded, and the death of one of the Lost Primarchs is heavily believed to be because of the Rangdang Xenocide. More on that in a moment. We also know that when the Lost Legions got deleted, not all of them were purged, and a large number of them were absorbed by other legions, mostly by the Ultramarines, who experienced a large influx of new Marines at the same time as the disbanding of the 2nd and 11th.
Those Marines
Coincidence?
Know about their history,
I think not. Some wordbearers even discussed the exact thing happening in canon, so I'm pretty confident this is the case. After all, even with chaos, corruption, and careful planning by their Primarch, 1/3 of each traitor legion was still loyalist, so it's not hard to assume the same would come of the Lost Legions. So here is the big theory about the death of one of the Lost Primarchs. I can't say which one, because GW hasn't made any fucking distinctions between the two of them, but that's unimportant. I mentioned this in my Rangdang Xenocide video, but basically the Rangdang, or maybe their sloth overlords, were known for their incredible mind control powers. I reckon that the Rangdang were able to corrupt one of the Lost Primarchs and a lot of his legion over to their cause, explaining why the Rangdang Xenocides were so challenging for the Imperium, as well as why the Rangdang Xenocides have been mostly purged from Imperial records. There is absolutely no description or image of the Rangdang available, as I believe the Emperor didn't want it to be common knowledge that one of his sons had betrayed him. We could even go as far as to say that there was no Rangdang Xeno, and that the Rangdang was just a cover-up for a legion-going traitor. This theory is backed up by the fact that Russ has hinted towards being the Emperor's executioner and having experience when it comes to killing Primarchs. Obviously that experience doesn't count for much because he failed to kill Horus, Angron, and Magnus despite being in a position where he could have killed all three of them, but, you know, she'll be right. Russ also states that Astartes vs Astartes combat prior to the Horus Heresy had happened before. Now, he could have been talking about the battle he had with that walking abortion advertisement Angron, or he could have been talking about the Rangdang Xenocides, a war that he and his wolves took a large part in. From this, I can comfortably say that at least one of the Lost Primarchs met their demise during the Rangdang Xenocides, as they fought against the Emperor. The appropriate characters are in the right spot, i.e. Lehman was around and Corvus and his Raven Guard were not, the timeline is reasonable, and the mystery of the entire event all clearly points towards this. Now, whilst there's a chance that the other Lost Primarch died here as well, I really don't think they did. It was stated by Rogel that each Lost Primarch experienced a different tragic demise. The clues for the fate of the remaining Lost Legion Primarch might lay with Sanguinius. When Horus caught Sanguinius culling one of his sons who had fallen to the Red Thirst, Sanguinius begged Horus not to tell the Emperor, as he believed that if Father found out about the Blood Angel's gene flaw, they would suffer the same fate as the Lost Legions. The death of the missing Primarchs were tragedies. Their deaths weren't glorious, yet the Lost Legions weren't despised. People just kind of felt sad about what had happened to them. Hence, the other Lost Primarchs succumbing to a serious gene flaw and then being put out of their misery could have been what happened. This theory can be rebuked by saying, if one of the Lost Legion's gene flaw was so bad that their Primarch had to be deleted, then how come a large part of the Legion was able to join up with the other Legions such as the Ultramarines? Well, to this you could say that only a certain percentage of the Legion, including the Primarch, experienced the gene flaw, or you could say that when the Emperor ordered said percentage of the Legion to be culled, the Primarch refused to do so and rebelled. Lorgar also mentioned that he feared the Emperor would do the same to him and his Legion after the Emperor mind-raped him for being too religious, but while Sanguinius was certain that fate awaited his Legion, Lorgar just kinda said it as a, "Daddy is mad at me, please daddy, not the belt." There doesn't seem to be a huge consensus from the different writers about what happened to the Lost Legions. Most paint the Purged Primarchs as tragic accidents, while others heavily imply that they needed to be culled. It's also hard to determine if the Lost Primarchs' crimes were so great that they had to be purged from existence, or if the Emperor just wanted to maintain the propaganda that his Space Marines and Primarchs were unbeatable and infallible.
So
now I did say that
crimes,
people who wanted the missing Primarchs to stay ambiguous so they could have their own homebrew...
So if they did crimes, then that would have to be some serious crimes to get like completely expunged from records. I mean, we've got chapters that turn to chaos and they're still known. So I mean, how much worse can those crimes be to get expunged off of the record? I don't know.
Primarchs were retards, and I stand by that. However, a couple homebrew Primarchs have been made anyway, so I'll pick out a couple of my favourite. First off, we have Ikarion the Stormborn of the 2nd Legion, the Lightning Bearers. Off the bat, the Primarchs were missing a Japanese-inspired Primarch. It was like GW said, we got a Mongolian, you know, what else is there? And forgot that if Warhammer had been allowed to take off in Asian countries, they would be worth $1 bazillion, and that nobody in Mongolia can afford motorbikes. Ikarion is the Primarch equivalent of a noble samurai who wielded incredible elemental powers based around, you guessed it, lightning. Now, from the fan lore made about him, his demise and fall doesn't seem to be connected to the Rangdang Xenocides. I would say that his son's tendency to electrocute shit, as well as being a bunch of sushi-eating pussies who didn't want to genocide in the Emperor's name anymore, led to them getting excommunicated. There is an amazing artwork here that details the end of Ikarion and his sons. It depicts Russ and Ikarion having a final conversation before Russ kills Ikarion in a duel. The conversation basically goes Russ being like, I don't want to have to kill you, but you turning your back on us has left me no choice. And then Ikarion is like, then Russ is like, eat death, you fucking weeb. Yeah, that's more or less how it goes. The unique style, design, and abilities of Ikarion are impressive, and would easily allow him to stand out as a fan favourite from the rest of his brothers. You know, if he didn't get killed, then deleted. There's actually a lot of cool artwork for this guy and his Legion, so if someone wants to flesh out their lore a bunch, or send me a link to a lore page about them that I was unable to find myself, then I might end up making a video on him. My choice for the 11th Primarch is a bit harder, because Ikarion just kind of shits on everyone else's homebrew Primarchs, but I'll have to go with Raktra Akaro, Primarch of the Ursen Berserkers. Because, you know, he kind of looks like the guy that would get mind-controlled by the Rangdang. The issue with Raktra is that his creator decided to pile him into a fan-made version of the 40k universe that has different fan-made Primarchs for each Legion. Whilst this is cool, I guess, it means I can't use much of his lore to describe him here, as it would make absolutely no sense. This is why fan-made Primarchs is stupid. Basically, Raktra was a raging arsehole that could match Angron with how much of a ruthless dick he was. At least Angron had an excuse via the nails in his brain. Raktra just kinda sucked as a person. However, he was a master hunter and an apex predator of his planet, growing up in a gang of a hostile world that had been ravaged by the Age of Strife. When the Emperor arrived, Raktra was excited to finally meet an individual more powerful than he, hence he agreed to serve the Emperor. Well, when he discovered that his role of a Primarch was to protect humanity, not teabag it, he got pretty upset. With how powerful and ruthless he was, as well as how cooked his brain seemed to be, he would be the perfect candidate for the Rangdang Xenocides Primarch. Fan-made stuff is cool. Canon lore is cooler. Give me some canon missing Primarchs, or just make Ikarion canon, and I'll be happy. And that does us for today, guys, the lore and story of what we know about the missing Primarchs and their legions. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where only $1 per month gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more missing content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next.
Okay, so there we go. So I guess both of the Lost Primarchs are dead, I guess? Or is that the Because he said he wasn't sure, at least in the start of the video, if they are or not. But yeah, I guess I can kind of see where he's coming from about making your own lore and stuff like that. Like, I guess it depends on who's making the lore. You know, that first guy that he said, the lightning, this guy here, pretty badass from the sounds of it. I mean, like, the lore on this guy here, pretty damn good. I mean, I like his armor and stuff like that. That is pretty cool. The color scheme's nice and everything. Do get a little of a Eldar vibe-ish from him a little bit. But yeah, and then of course, the other guy, not so much. So I guess it all depends on, who's doing the lore, because obviously this one here is a lot better than the other one. So I guess I can kind of understand where he's coming from with the whole, make your own lore type of thing. But I don't know, maybe it'd be better if Games Workshop just kind of put out like some bare minimum lore on them. Like, this is what this dude looked like, and just like bare minimum, so at least you have something to go on instead of trying to like make everything like, this is what the Primarch looks like, and this is the paint scheme, and this is his backstory, and this is his weapons, and this is what he did, and this is what he, how he died, and stuff like that. At least if you put out like the bare minimum, at least it's something to, kind of build on. I don't know, but still the idea of, making your own Space Marine chapter and stuff is kind of cool, instead of trying to fit it in with like actual lore. Like, like for a while I was thinking, like, if I did my own Dark Angels subchapter, like Brothers of Silence or something like that, like, does that really fit in, under Dark Angels? I don't know. I just don't know if it'd fit, and it'd just be, I don't know, it'd just be like a little weird and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, just very interesting about the Lost Primarchs. I guess I gotta watch that video about the Rangdong Xeno sides or something like that. He said it like 60 times in the damn video. So yeah, Rangdong Xeno sides. I guess I really gotta watch that video then, since a Xenos that makes Tyranids look cuddly. Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really check out that video, because I mean, he said it a whole bunch of times in this video, so yeah, it's gonna be something to check out. But yeah, even some of these pictures are pretty cool. Like this one, he is pretty badass. I like the two-tone paint scheme and stuff like that. The shoulder pads are pretty cool. But yeah, very interesting about the Lost Primarchs. I guess it's kind of a shame we'll never, I guess, really know anything really about him and stuff like that. I mean, whatever they must have done, if what he said was true, he said he wasn't sure, it must have been so severe to get completely expunged from the records. I mean, you got Space Marine chapters turning to chaos and becoming, demon Primarchs and stuff like that, and there's still records of those. How much worse can, you completely turning to chaos and stuff and becoming a traitor is pretty high up there. But I mean, to do even worse, to get expunged from record, has to be, I don't know. So there has to be something in this video here that would make things so much worse. So I think this is going to be my next video I watch, because I got to learn all about this. For him to say it so many times in this video, it has to be like some sort of big event. I don't know. So anyways, let me know what you think. Do you agree with what he said? Are both Primarchs dead? Was it because of a gene seed flaw, and they were, culled because of that? But then you got the Blood Angels with theirs, but they're still around. So I don't know. How does that work? Did one of them die or become traitor to this here? Do you think one of them is still alive and locked up in a jail dungeon somewhere? Let me know your theories, or if he was correct and both are dead, and that's the end of it. Let me know. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. And other than that, yeah, just stick around. Like I said, I think this is probably going to be the next video I check out. I don't know when I'll get to it. Holidays are keeping me busy, and making videos is a little challenging at the moment. So, but when I have time and can make a video, I think this will be the next one, and I'll learn all about this. Alright, so anyways, other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.